Hey guys, how you doing? Let's get that audio check. I've already checked with Funky, and his audio is really good. Y'all let me know if you can hear us.
Oh yeah, 1, 2, 3 mic check, everybody.
I'll get a few of them telling me real quick. Sounds good. Thank you, Don. Benny Riley, thank you. Saw you over there on Bro Sanchez, man. You kind of teared up. That shows me you're a real spiritual dude, man. I like that about you, Benny. Yeah, guys, this is a collaboration that's in a long time coming. We actually started communicating maybe as much as 5-6 months ago, but I was doing a lot of traveling in between time. Darren here got sick. You got pretty sick, didn't you, for a little while?
Yeah, wiped me out for about nearly 3 months, but we're all good in the hood now. We're ready to rock and roll, bro. All good.
Yeah, man, that stuff's going around. It's going around. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I'll tell you what helps, no, brother. Remember that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Oh, I see my dad's in the chat somewhere. I see Victoria flirting with him. I seen it. I caught you, Victoria. Yeah, my dad listens to my videos.
Oh, that's so cool, dude.
Let's see. Oh yeah, he still thinks I'm a crazy SOB. He has absolutely no understanding of the inner workings of my mind, but he's cool with it.
Nice touch.
So we got a good presentation for you guys today, because in Archaix we're all about applications. If you know something, it doesn't really mean anything if you can't apply it in some way to your life or your understanding of where you are in your reality. Here in Archaix, Funkyprepper's channel is. I'm gonna let him introduce himself and what he does, but he's boots on the ground. He's in basically the hot zone right now for a lot of the activity that we're going to be discussing in this video. The UK is not a nice place to be in right now, and for many different reasons. It seems to be that's where the red tape on the next series of events is going to be cut, and events are probably going to start unfolding there first. This is the direction of events that we're seeing. We're going to discuss in this. I'm also going to give a 10 to a 15-minute presentation toward the end of this video after we discuss world events, after we listen to Funkyprepper tell us, some of the deeper things that are going on behind the scenes that the media is ignoring in the UK, things he's been discussing on his channel, and the importance of being prepared at the same time as the importance of keeping a level head and having no fear to think of these things objectively, so we can plan our lives like a chess game and not be played like a pawn. So this is the subject matter of this video, but when it comes to applications, guys, I'm going to blow your mind with what I have found. The actual Greek conveys. Remember, 1611 King James Version, they changed the Bible. They changed the Bible considerably, and they made a lot of words gender neutral that were actually in the feminine or in the masculine, and in Greek that makes a big difference. I'm going to show you in here, show you what the second seal is really conveying and how it applies to what we're talking about today. So to get started, Funkyprepper, man, tell my community, so I can get a bunch of my people subbing to you. Tell my community, man, give us a good 20-minute presentation real quick about what you do, about your community, why you've blown up. You've gotten thousands of new subs, and real recently, people are starting to wake up that what you're conveying is the real deal, man.
Yeah, for sure. It's literally, we are living in proper rich historic times right now. There's so many things coming down the pipe, and of course we're always going to be sidetracked of all of the BS. That Russell Brand and all that nonsense, it's just a sideshow. It really is. But the real important stuff, especially which is going on right here right now in the UK, and it has been for a while, is, without putting too fine a point on it, Europe, UK and America is being invaded, and a lot of people are really uncomfortable with that term, but it's true. There's just so many coincidences, allegedly coincidences. You need to look into it. This stuff is absolutely going crazy. Now, I've already looked into this. Now, apparently, a few years ago, last year, the UK, the Muslims make up 33% of the population of the UK. That was last year. More are coming every single day, And there doesn't seem to be any way that this is going to slow down or to stop. But guess what, gang? It's not just the UK, it's Europe and America. I mean, Jason's going to be the first one to tell you about how crazy Texas border is right now. I mean, Trump done his best to put a nice big wall there because he saw this coming. But we got Mr. Potato Head now literally just said, come on in, it's great. But what's happening? Things are changing. And it's not just that. If you look back over the last 10 years, especially in the UK, the culture is changing. Even music now, new popular music has a definite Islamic sound to it. This is all being done slowly. You can bring that in with the alphabet people, the LGBTQ plus blah, blah, whatever it is. You start looking behind the scenes of that stuff. No, it's not what we're being told. The bottom line is the kids here in the UK are being very, very slowly sexualized at a younger age. Now, there's a reason why all of these sort of groundwork things are being embedded as we're in play. And when you look at the culture of Islam, you know, when they're getting married to 10-year-old girls and stuff, have multiple wives, you can absolutely see this happening in real time. And when they start saying, you can't say anything against all of this because you are deemed a racist. Well, first and foremost, Islam is not a race. So fundamentally, that's a BS thing to say anyway. There's many other things going alongside all of this. You're looking at a very, very slow financial collapse. Inflation is going ballistic. It's crazy. I don't know what it is in America, but my God, the prices of stuff now are going so crazy. We had 2020. Now, when Jason was speaking about the first seal being broken, absolutely fundamentally agree with that statement. And it's literally like a switch that was pressed in 2020. And you've got to be absolutely crazy not to see the changes in the last 3 years. And without scaring anybody, this is just the start. In my opinion, 2020 was a big test case. It was a training scenario. And what I believe has happened is whoever is behind all of this, and there's no way that what happened in 2020 was a coincidence. I think we can all agree with that one.
Agreed.
It's absolutely planned. And in my personal opinion, and don't forget, we are free to express our own opinions, and we don't have to agree with each other. I think that's healthy that we do have debate on this stuff. So many things have happened in 2020. When you consider quantum computing, when you consider AI, you get them two things combined. Can you imagine the amount of data that was crunched and is continually being crunched right now as we speak on this live stream? All of the information was getting gathered from different countries around the world. It was almost like every country had their own script and they'd done certain things at certain times. This went on for a couple of years. They got all of that data from different countries. What was public opinion? How did people react? How fast and slow did it take for people to react? How many people woke up and didn't wear all of this BS and take part in that shenanigans? So they've got all of this data now. They pretty much know what they need to know. And when you stick that into AI and you look at Google searches as well, but not only that, look at DuckDuckGo. That's all pretty much run by Google now. They know our search habits. They know how we react. They know how we think. And like Jason said earlier, and I actually laughed my ass off, if any of you guys watching this right now believe that we come from chimpanzee, bro, you're in the wrong show. Serious. Isn't that right, Jay? It's absolutely crazy what's gone on out there. So with that being said, when you look at like the Texas border, which we talked about briefly earlier, if you can imagine all of Europe, okay, now lots of these migrations are coming from Africa, predominantly from Africa, funneled in from and via the Middle East. If you looked at what was going on in Europe right now, it's insane. It's absolutely crazy. We have been having migrant issues for quite some time now. But like I said, 2020, that fire button and that switch was pressed. It's ramped up big time. So much so that here in the UK, we are having people who live here, nationals, should we say, absolutely sick to the back teeth of these migrants coming over here and having preferential treatment. We've got the NHS, which is the National Health System. So basically, a percentage of your wages automatically gets taken out to pay for your healthcare. Okay, it's almost like what you guys in America have with insurance, etc. So you're paying into that system. You know, you're paying your taxes and everything else. So for someone to come into your own country, which, believe it or not, you know, your fathers, your grandfathers, your great-great-grandfathers fought and died for to protect as many freedoms as we could possibly hope to have, it's just being eroded in a rapidly big way. Now, the issue is, like I said, preferential treatment. They're getting to the front of the queue for a dentist, for doctors, etc., for hospitals, and all of the time, us guys who are paying into the system for healthcare, we have to wait in turn. These guys are coming over here, getting free money, getting free housing. And the scariest thing, if you don't already know, these are predominantly, I assume, looking at my research, that the figure is over 90% of all of these migrants that have come into the UK and indeed Europe. And I'm guessing what's going on in America too. They're all fighting age males. So we're looking at 17 to 35 years old. Okay. Where's all of the disabled people? Where's all of the girlfriends and the wives? Where's the kids? Where are they?
Right.
And I heard a statement not that long ago, and it's absolutely true, and it makes perfectly sense in my mind. If you are leaving a country without your children and families, you are going to war. And what we are being told is these guys are leaving a country because of war. If you left the country because you're at war, would you leave your loved ones at home and leave them there? Absolutely, of course you wouldn't. So what are we seeing? We are seeing a planned cultural change going on in Western nations, Europe, UK, and continental United States of America. This is real. It's really happening. It's not BS. It's not poppycock. And no, they're not fleeing from war zones, because why would they leave all of their kids at home? If you're a parent watching now, would you do that? No. So when you look at what's been happening here in the UK, they've been coming over, they've been handed hotels given to them on a plate. Now, there's been a massive government program funded by nefarious organizations behind the scenes, working in cahoots with UK government. And if you're a hotel owner, times have been hard, especially since the planned button that was switched in 2020, making it really impossible to be in that sector, looking in towards tourism, etc. They struggled because guess what? They was advised by our lovely government to stop having people go into their hotels. Now, a lot of hotels closed, and closed for good, because they followed the guidance. They've done as they were told, like good little citizens. And now look, their business that they've run for years, gone. All of the hotels that were left, guess what? The government contacted every single one of those hotels and say, hey, do you want £200,000 a year to hand it over to migrants or whatever, or even more money in some cases? And lots of people were already struggling at that point. And they was all happy to say, yeah, because what are they seeing on the news? That these guys are fleeing war-torn countries, and we should open up our arms and welcome them into our wonderful, diverse country. And look what's happening. All of the hotels got booked. So if you're in the UK and you wanted to have a family holiday, guess what? No room at the inn, guys. The hotels were shut. They were corporate bookings. They were closed to the public. So what you're looking at is another pronged attack into these tourist destinations within the UK. All of the local businesses were suffering too, because everyday holidaymakers, in summer season would turn up. They would spend their hard-earned money on local cafes, bars, businesses, all the rest of it. That wasn't happening. Why? Because tourists had nowhere to stay, because all of the hotels were handed over to migrants. And just when they filled up all of the hotels and there was no room for them, guess what they've done? Now, this is where it gets sinister. Lots of these migrants were moved into ex-Ministry of Defense training camps, which the military use. Yes. We have already seen videos and all sorts of things where veterans here in the UK have been covertly operating to study the movements of what was going on in these retired MOD camps. We have seen evidence of United Nations boxes being moved into these locations with these fighting age male migrants. Now, how does that make you feel? Maybe people might think you're a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist. Maybe you're extreme right wing. Maybe. I think it's BS, because what they love to do is they love to marginalize people, put them into boxes, label them. All the time that people are being put into boxes and having labels, guess what? It's easier to fight with each other. And it's exactly what they want. And I believe Jason's going to cover some of this as we go through this live stream about what is coming in the coming years with all of that sort of thing coming into play. It's nuts. I mean, I remember Jason talking in the late 1880s. It was already written. It's just already been planned. Right. Albert Pike has had something to do with that. And I believe Jason knows there's other people as well. And when you look at the first seal, which is obviously the white horse, absolutely got triggered in 2020. The red horse, the second seal. Now, that's where it gets fascinating. And from the work that Jason's been doing behind the scenes, I'm pretty sure lots of you guys watching now are going to be mind blown with that stuff coming out. Bro, it's been a crazy time, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, you hit on some really salient points. The one, we are absolutely witnessing the unfolding of a long game. The people that are doing this, the perpetuating, this isn't something that was just concocted 3 or 4 years ago. This is long-term planning. And it goes back 40, 50, 60, maybe 70 years as far as beginning to basically introduce foreign elements into different nations. Now, with the advent of World War II and after the Nuremberg trials, all of a sudden it became evil to be a nationalist. Whereas prior to World War II, everybody in the world took great pride in their patriotism about being a nationalist. It did not matter if you had come from Palestine, if you had come from Syria, if you had come from Libya, if you had come from Morocco. It didn't matter if you had come from Thailand, Southeast Asia, Australia, if you had come from the UK, Germany, wherever. If you're here in the United States, prior to World War II, people took it as a matter of pride, as a matter of course, that they're a nationalist, meaning they're pro-United States before they would be anybody else. And there was nothing wrong with having great pride and a willing to defend your homeland where your family and all the families of your friends live. But post-World War II, we have been saturated with this guilt programming that you shouldn't be proud of your nation if you're a Western nation. However, this isn't being promoted in the media if you live in a Middle Eastern nation or if you live in an Asian nation or an African nation. Let me explain. Have you ever seen a program where white people were introduced into Japanese society and the Japanese didn't want them there? Are there hotels full of white people that the Japanese want to get rid of? Or is there any culture being introduced into Japan? Most people don't know this, but the Japanese are nationalists. And for some reason, the media totally ignores the fact that they let in less than 1% per capita of their nation. Whatever their population is in Japan, they have policies. They're not letting in anyone that's going to upset the balance of ethnic Japanese people being in control of Japan. So Japan's one of those areas of the world that's been absolutely ignored in this. There's a few other countries that have been ignored as well, but it's not just the United States. It's not just the UK. We have all the way Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Germany, especially bad. Now we can use historical precedents and we can understand that France and Spain are the two key hotspots of Europe when it comes to these Islamic invasions. And when I say Islamic, I'm not sitting here trying to draw criticism toward Islam, because what I'm really referring to are cultures being used as pawns by elitists. This is exactly what happened in the 5th, 6th, and 7th centuries in the days of Charles Martel. People don't know their history. They don't realize it wasn't just Muslims wanting to invade Europe. They were wired to do it. They were wired up to do it, and they were helped. The three great big religions are Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And it has already been conclusively proven by many academic scholars, researchers, private individuals. There are thousands of books, videos, documentaries. Anybody who really wants to look into it will find that Christianity was basically created out of Judaism and the Gnosis, and that Islam was directly created out of Catholicism and Christianity and Judaism. It's all in the Quran. So these were used, this is long-term planning. These religions were used to govern over peoples. And then those governing apparatus were now controllable by those on the outside who knew the triggers, who knew what to do. And what we have right now is basically another unfolding of what happened in the 5th, 6th, and 7th centuries when Spain and when France were invaded. So what I am seeing is somebody with deep pockets. Now, we already know the names. I mean, we don't know if that's the true people behind it. The money probably comes from even higher up. Well, we've already heard the name George Soros and how he openly brags about his activities. Somebody with deep pockets is funding all of this. But even more so, there is no way that you and I and a few others can put all these pieces together and the military intelligence agencies of the world don't already know what's going on. There's no way. That tells me that they are complicit 100%. I don't believe in the myth of the independent, SAS, the independent UK military is observing things and they're only going to let things go to a certain extent and then they're going to intervene. I don't believe that about the United States military anymore. And the reason I don't is something that's far deeper than the phenomenon we're talking about right now. And what I mean is I am 100% full tilt believer that the reason why all the governments in the world are playing ball, the reason why all the militaries have stood down and no one's intervening and all this chaos is allowed and these things are openly done to where we can detect them is because they're bedding down. Everything is about preparing for 2040. These people are not ignorant. They are not stupid. They know exactly what's coming. The Phoenix phenomenon is real. It is so well documented. They know all about it. They've got all the information. And this is exactly their playbook. Their playbook is to create this controversy, stir up this bullshit, have the surface world doing all these things while they continue to prepare. They continue to send their fleets and truck convoys of 18-wheelers from the surface to the underground facilities, start moving that through all their monorail systems, go all over and get everything ready. So by about 2036, they go ahead and seal the doors and they're down there. While up here, we literally play out an ancient playbook. And the fragments of that playbook are everywhere. I'll give you an example. In the Old Testament, which isn't even old at all, but in the Old Testament, we have a prophetic book of Ezekiel. And remember, when it comes to prophecy, who is the God of prophecy? Who's the God of prophecy and across the board? It's Apollo. But he's called Apollyon in the book of Revelation. It's the same one. Statue of Liberty with the spikes, that's not a female. That's Apollo. Apollo in ancient statues, according to Pausanias in the 5th century BC. I've showed you pictures on my channel, guys. Apollo was known for carrying a bow with no arrows. What we have unfolding, Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39 list 11 different nations, cultures, and kingdoms. And when these were listed, when the book of Ezekiel was written, it's talking about a massive war campaign, international consortium of armies that all come together to go take Jerusalem for whatever reason. Maybe they're going to go liberate the Dome of the Rock. I don't know. But the prophetic literature is very clear. These 11 nations all allied to each other. They come together and they invade in the last days. This is your World War III. This is what all this is building up to. This was all written, this is all revealed in the 1880s through Mazzini, from which we got the acronym Mafia. But Mazzini had written all this to Albert Pike, and this has been widely published in multiple books. They knew about World War I was going to involve the total collapse of the Christian Romanov Empire of Russia and turn it into the atheist USSR, controlled by a small minority of Jews called Bolsheviks. This is what they planned. It's what they executed. It's what they succeeded in doing. World War II was planned. They said they're going to completely collapse Germany, and they were going to separate Germany, and they were going to kill a whole bunch of the German people. Most people don't even know the true history of World War II, especially the firebombing of Dresden, how all the innocent civilians, men, women, and children were burned to death in a firestorm that was specifically created by the militaries, the air forces of the United States and the UK, specifically created because they knew if you stratobombed in a certain pattern using the Fibonacci series, it would create a fiery tornado around an entire city. And it's exactly what they did. They burned they burned civilians. There's no military. Dresden had no military. It wasn't a military target. So anyway, there's a lot of this, but they did that. The Third World War was between Christianity and Islam, and it was all published 130, 140 years ago. This is not even a secret. The playbook's been known. But in order to get the Western world to absolutely rise up in arms and to take up that nationalist, take up that pride, and all come together to fight a common enemy, it's going to take a catalyst. And Funkyprepper, that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing the elitist prepare the catalyst. That's what all this is about. It's all about putting all these cells out. This isn't a condemnation of Islam. This isn't a condemnation of people from the Middle East. It's not. This is cultures, races, nationalities being used as pawns by elitists. A lot of them are criminals, yeah, but a lot of them are just brainwashed into the paradigm they were raised to believe in, Islam or whatever it is they believe. But most of them are Islamic, and they're being put in these countries deliberately. And you're right, they're military age. Every bit of this is by design. It's not just to create an imbalance. This is a deliberate plant of a fifth column in all the Western nations. That's exactly what this is. It's you got to call a spade, and it's exactly, precisely what is needed to basically have the Western nations come together and declare war on the Middle East. It's exactly what is needed, and it's all by design. We're being played. This is play out. This is we're just watching it unfold, but we're not going to change it. This is all part of the program. This is such long-term planning. The collective is going to follow through with this. They're easy to read. It's easy to see. So yeah, man, that's why the value of your work, Funkyprepper, you've been letting them people know. I mean, you're at risk of getting censored and all that, but you're steadily letting your people know, man. This is what's going on now, man. The police. I mean, I was listening to you the other day talk about the Muslim population in the UK has their own police force, and they're worse than the people they're policing. So yeah, it has gotten crazy. It's gotten out of control. But in my own comment section, please. I've seen a couple comments that were borderline, guys. This isn't a racial discussion, and we're not here to disparage anybody's belief system. That's not what this is about. This is about the elite playbook and the political consequences of what's going down and how it's going to erupt. And this is all we're discussing here. Yeah, we're not sitting here criticizing people's beliefs.
No, exactly. Yeah, I mean, everyone is free to think and believe and ponder upon whatever they want to. Everyone has got their own minds, their own experiences. Every single human on the planet has its own individual experience. So everyone is going to react in different ways based on trillions of different things. So all we're trying to do is we're trying to sort of report what we're seeing, how it's affecting civilization, Western civilization. And it was interesting when Jace, when you went back earlier, saying about in the 500s and stuff. I remember reading, oh God, it must have been in the late 90s. I'm pretty sure that Nostradamus had some of this put in one of his quatrains as well, about the Islam coming into Europe. I wish I could have remembered which one it was.
No,
but
no. If I would have had more time to prepare, and if I knew that
yeah,
we were
yeah.
going to discuss Nostradamus, I would have provided those. But you're absolutely correct. Michael
Mm.
del Nostradamus has several quatrains that introduce an Islamic Christian conflict at this period of time. It's dated at this period of time according to the date index that was published by Mario Reading.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And like I say, the more people dig deep into this, what would be really cool if people do have a genuine interest about, let's face it, these are rich historical changes, and like we're sort of realizing, is absolutely planned. There's no way, it's impossible for all of this to be a coincidence. You've got to be crazy to understand that this is coincidence.
Well,
So
listen,
yes,
it's not a coincidence, no more than, listen, we got to put the individual pieces together, because it's really easy to get swept up in current events by listening to the news. We easily forget things that we should remember, such as this is directly tied to Biden ordering the U.S. military out of Afghanistan, and the Afghanis got billions of dollars of brand new American-made, technologically advanced military hardware for free. We left all that stuff behind. Where do you think it went? It went straight into this operation. This worldwide operation, I promise you, a bunch of that military hardware is going to be used for this event. What's going to happen? I'm going to call, just for future reference until I actually do the breakdown on the Greek, we'll just call this event Order 66. Are you familiar with that term? Have you watched Star Wars?
Yes. That's unreal, isn't it? What a coincidence.
Let me tell, for those who don't know, Funky understands what I'm talking about, but for those of you who don't know, in Star Wars,
wow,
the stormtroopers epitomized the Guardians of the Republic. The guys in the white armor and all that, the clones, these guys, well, first they were clones, then they were regular humans, but these guys with their guns and all, they were protectors of the Republic. That's why they were brought in. However, they were programmed with a Trojan, and that Trojan was called Order 66. They didn't know it. They thought they were white knights. They were protectors of the realm and all that. And they were. They fought the battles of the Republic. They restored peace. They were peacekeepers. These were the stormtroopers. But Emperor Palpatine, who was actually a Sith Lord, this guy had actually programmed them with a Trojan, and the Trojan would be activated. The Trojan programming inside their own programming would be activated when he initiated what was called Order 66. And when he did in the Star Wars trilogy, as soon as Order 66 took off, no matter what was going on anywhere in all the worlds, all throughout the galaxy, all the military campaigns, missions, battles, as soon as Order 66 happened, every stormtrooper's programming took over, and they went to war with the Jedi, and in point blank range just killed every Jedi, the true guardians of the galaxy. They just killed every Jedi they saw. So, and they thought their programming was still intact. They thought they were still protecting the Republic by doing that. So Order 66, that's exactly what this is. The same type of scenario. Someone, we don't know who it is, could be George Soros, I don't know who it is. Somebody hired him. But somebody has funded all this and put literally 2 or 3 million of these military age males in all these locations spread through all these Western European and United States, Canadian countries. They haven't tried to put them in all these other countries. They've got them specifically in the West, because it's the West and the Western militaries that they need to come together. So politically, they'll vote for a war against Islam. So there'll be the third world war that they said they're going to cause. This is how they're going to do it. They need a catalyst. So
it's pretty much like the Manchurian Candidate scenario, but widespread, isn't it? Always like pre-programmed and all of that.
Oh, it's no doubt.
Really. Yeah.
I mean, there are many who are raised fundamentalists in the Middle East who think, you know, all white people are the white devil. I mean, they're trained. A lot of them are trained to believe this. And you have, we're not going to name them here, but you have all kinds of intelligence agencies and apparatus that are working behind the scenes to foster that. Because these bombings of tea shops and coffee shops, they're always blamed on Islam, blamed on terrorists, blamed on Taliban, blamed on the Sunni, blamed on everybody. But the true perpetrators are actually those who are working with the deep state to keep this unrest going, to keep the finger pointing going, to keep the hatred going. I mean, this is this has been going on for a very long time. Most of the time, the bombs are set off by the exact opposite of the people who are accused. So, I mean, this is a fundamental tenet of the intelligence apparatus worldwide. Always accuse your enemy of what you are. So when they try to defend themselves, they sound like idiots. It sounds like a high school deal. Oh, no, man, you did that, not me. You understand? This is what they do. Always accuse the innocent of exactly what they themselves are guilty of. Yeah, this is
it's like the Art of War as well, isn't it? It's very reminiscent of the Art of War, about doing whatever you can to give yourself the best outcome. And, you know, make no bones about it, they're doing every single frigging trick in the book. And like Jason said, it's absolutely, there's people put out there, which lots of us talk about. You know, you got your George Soros, you got like, the wealthy people that are known, but the real money, the real power is always going to come from people that we've never heard about. We're never going to know about. Can you imagine when they do the Forbes list, the richest 100, when it gets put out there, and you've got Bezos and you've got that idiot Elon Musk and all the rest of it on there. When that gets released, the real power behind the scenes looks at that and they laugh their asses off, because what we're publicly being told about these so-called wealthiest top 100 people on the planet, that's pocket money. That's absolutely nothing. And these people who are running this, and some people might say they're not even people. The truth is, we really just do not know. But these people, beings, whatever, they've got access to unlimited funding, unlimited minds, which they control by fear. The top scientists into certain things. Okay, if you don't do as you're told, you're gone and your family's gone, and we'll find someone else. Believe it, they toe the line. They do their little bit, and it's all compartmentalized. All of these people are doing things without really understanding what implication their actions are going to spread out to this crazy agenda. And, you know, when you think about 2040 and all of these deep underground military bases, there's so much evidence now of mass amounts of food and supplies being squirreled away underground. And what a better way to sort of instill fear into people, to get them arguing about, you know, 2020 and whatever else comes out and stuff. All the time people are fighting against each other. They're busy squirreling away, waiting for the big day, and then guess what? Boom. They'll be fine and we'll be toast. So it was quite interesting what you said earlier about fear. Now, personally, in the last 4 months, I've literally been losing the fear. And it's a fundamental, most important piece of armor that you can have alongside your intuition. You get your intuition and you're following it, and you're following the signs, and you're picking up on things, and then you start losing the fear as well. Guess what? Errant time. You're outside of the system. They can't really control how you think at this point. And I am seeing this daily. This number is growing. I remember someone saying a long time ago, back in 2009, I think it was, I think it's a professor done studies into this. Once the global population who are aware, I don't like to use that term awake, which is 13%, that goes past the point of non-return, and that number is growing, and it's not going to stop. I believe we're at that point now. I really believe that 13% of the global population have a pretty good idea of what's going on, and yes, we've been absolutely frigging lied to. Basically, anything that the authorities tell you, most of the time it's the actual opposite of what they're saying.
Absolutely.
And this movement is growing so crazy. I mean, you get emails. I've got thousands of emails from people waking up. I mean, there's people that I interview and they woke up 10 months ago. People are waking up yesterday and today. Everyone has got their sort of own story about what happened to them and what made them start to question things. With me, it was way back in 2008. Before then, I was your average Joe. You know, I'd watch football games and I'd go down a pub with friends. And when I started realizing what was going on, started questioning things, everything changed. And the strange thing is, when I said about losing the fear, I've been making YouTube videos since 2012. It's taken a long time to grow that channel organically. And only recently, like I said, I lost the fear. I am now talking about things on my channel which I never had the frigging balls to talk about before. We're deep diving into intuition and all of that stuff. It's not just about prepping and learning skills and, you know, self-defense and cleaning water. No, if you haven't got intuition, you're a frigging dead duck already. You need that, right, Jay? Without intuition, you're screwed.
I tell my community all the time, intuition is the predecessor of knowledge. We're always going to suspect the truth before we can set out to prove it. Yeah, man. I'm on board. Listen, it's really coming to the point where we've entered a phase of the last days. The apocalypse means the unveiling. It is when the oversoul begins laying these things out and explaining, hey, man, this is why things are the way they are. This is what's going on. This is the trajectory of events. This is why we were given the 7 seals. We're supposed to understand where we are in the programming. The tribulation, the great judgments, they haven't even started yet. That's still far in the future. The 7 seals is a period of time that is designed to separate the wheat from the chaff, designed to separate the sheep from the wolves. It is designed to wake up those who are going to wake up and to leave the collective alone so they can enter in the next phase, which they are not going to like, but they signed up for. But yeah, man, it's the no fear aspect is so important, man, because fear always makes you a participant. You can't be objective if you're emotionally involved. If you're emotionally involved and become a participant, then you are affected by the very things that you observe. I don't want to borrow into that. I don't care what other people are going through. If they need my help, I will help them. But whatever wars they're trying to wage, whatever campaign they're on, whatever they're trying to do, I objectively look at things before I think them out. Like, do I want to borrow into that? Do I want to participate in something that's going to take me down this way and involve me with people I don't want to be involved with? It's the same way I deal with my trolls and my detractors. They want me to engage. They want me to do this and do that and do that. Because let me tell you something. I got some sophisticated trolls, the type of attacks. I'm talking about laying very sophisticated bait traps through emails and then telephone calls, personal visits. Yeah, these things, they think they're slick. They really do. But you know what? And then I got people that just do juvenile attacks on YouTube and other platforms. And they want you to engage. You realize, man, you know what? Just ignore them in their dissipates, and then 2 or 3 weeks later they're stuck thinking about what they did. It's like, damn, I looked like a dumbass. I just kept on going, just keep on moving. You know, that's what fear comes in many forms, man, but fearing anything makes you a participant, but it does something else as well. If you walk into a room full of strangers, they don't know why you're different. They have no idea why they just suddenly turn their head to look at you. But let me tell you something. Somebody who is not in fear of anything is basically radiating an aura of confidence, and that is an entirely different power. That right there opens doors. That right there gets people communicating. That right there completely unlocks whatever potentialities and possibilities are right there around you with whatever souls are in your proximity. Confidence is awesome. But you can't be both. You just can't. You're going to be one or the other.
It makes so much difference now, doesn't it? And you're absolutely right, because, you know, we have been sort of led to believe that we live in a 5-sense reality. Anything outside of that, and you go talking to Joe Public, they just think you're crazy. But you know, you feel, and the more that you follow the signs, your intuition, and I mean follow it 100%, my life has changed big time because of it, and for the better as well. But be under no illusion, every now and again, you're going to be getting thrown curveballs. Your life is going to fall apart without warning. And it's all about how you deal with that process at that time. The old you would have been worried, freaking out, lashing out, didn't know what to do. But the more you go through these cycles or these events, the more you grow as a person. And the more you do that, and the more you realize that fear has got no place. Just think about it, that you're a really bright light bulb, and every time someone attacks you verbally or whatever it is, or makes you feel bad, they're going for your emotions. And
Yes.
if you start buying into that, they literally got control of your light bulb with a dimmer switch, and they're turning your light down. And the darker your light goes, the less power you've got, the less self-confidence you got, the more you start doubting yourself and running yourself down, the more your energy decreases. And you look at that globally, wow, they are doing every frigging trick in the book to make sure that people are crapping themselves.
Right.
I mean, really? They've been saying, I mean, look at Al Gore. I mean, I jokingly with Shiva earlier on, I know where he lives. And if Al Gore was right, Shiva would be like treading water for years now. It's complete BS. And I've always said this, no matter what goes on, the main central thread, which they will not deviate from, climate change. That's everything to them. It's our problem. It's human beings' problem is why the weather's changing. I mean, there's been HARP technologies for decades and decades ago. There's over 50 globally now. And you're telling me that
climate change serves, the whole agenda serves multiple purposes. One of them is to funnel a tremendous amount of money from all the governments in the world. Another one is to blame any anomalous weather deals and all that stuff on climate change. We're going to experience more anomalous weather patterns the closer and closer we get to the Phoenix phenomenon. So then you have these wild claims of like Bill Gates and others in China talking about they can create they can do something and hide the sun, and they can create a canopy, and they can do all these things. Well, listen, this is only laying the foundation for claiming that their technology is what creates the vapor canopy when Phoenix returns. I mean, they've got all kinds of agendas in place. They always do. You never know what it is. You just it's so hard to keep up because you have think tanks that are deliberately designed to put out false narratives. Even YouTube, there are whole YouTube channels that are completely owned by intelligence agencies, and all they do is just churn out very high production, badass material. You're like, who are these people? Where did you get this data? How come we've never heard of you before? We don't know anything about you, and you're putting all these badass video productions out, and you can tell those like me who started from a wooden shack, and you can see my production value increase as I go up and up, and I buy better equipment. Then I'm in an RV and I'm using a different camera. I'm doing videos on a tablet. But you got channels that are they're suddenly, Martin and I were making a list the other day of channels that have just suddenly appeared on YouTube and all of a sudden had a massive amount of subs, and then their videos are getting all kinds of views. It's almost as if YouTube is creating channels out of thin air for which nobody have ever heard. And this isn't a light claim. My comment sections of all my videos are explosive. And in every comment section, people are asking me, hey, Jason, have you heard of that guy, Funkyprepper? Hey, Jason, have you heard of Mind Unveiled? Hey, Jason, have you heard of Michael Tessarion? So I get these all the time, and hundreds of times about the same individuals. But there are channels for which I'm seeing now that just suddenly appeared that Martin has been showing me that no one has ever said, hey, Jason, have you ever heard of this channel here? Have you ever heard? How come? It's so weird, dude. It's like YouTube or some Fortune 500 company is just inventing channels all of a sudden, filling them with content, and YouTube is giving them back histories that are false. Yeah,
that's another thing you touched on earlier on about like the second seal and the red horse. So straight away, we are being told that you're looking at Revelation 6, 3 and 4. Now, look at other ones as well, which they've been talking about false idols. Who have we got? As soon as you started talking, the first thing that popped into my head was redacted. Where the hell did that YouTube channel come from? Where the hell did it get million subscribers in 6 months? Who the hell is funding all of that? And This is where the intuition comes in. If there's anything you're not sure about, trust it. To me, redacted, I don't deal with it. We've got GB News here in the UK, heavily funded and financed. Sorry, I don't really feel that that's factually correct. Russell Brand's the biggest one. You've got to be crazy to think he's genuine and stuff. He's absolutely
Russell Brand is doing exactly what he did in the 2012 Olympic ceremony. He was dressed. He was dressed as the Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
He was playing the Pied Piper of Hamelin, and he was controlling the bus that was going around the whole ceremony that was full of people that wanted to get out. He was controlling the narrative.
I'm so glad you spotted that, dude, because when that was happening, I recorded it live.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't know that he was the singer. He was the star of the show. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
And it was showing all of that stuff about all of the wards, all of the kids. We had that Nightingale Hospital, which was opened up. It never got used and it got mothballed. All of that was done in 2012. And when you say this to people now, lots of people never heard of it. We're talking about people who have been, dare I say it, waking up since 2020. Already there was...
You hear that?
What the hell's that?
That's my bell, man, because Funkyprepper, you just hit 2,000 views on my channel, man. I got 2,000
Hey, man.
2,000
you got a 2K bell going on. All right, dude.
2,000 people in the chat, man.
Oh, my God. Yeah, but all of this stuff is all, you just need to see it to believe it, as it were. And I remember someone earlier on in the chat, they were saying about, oh, don't forget to tell Funky that, we're not living on a round planet. Well, when people ask me, is the planet round? Is it flat? Do you know what I say? I couldn't give a toss. It's got none of my business.
Yeah,
there's no way anyone can no one can prove it. So why would you want to spend your time arguing who's right and who's wrong? There's more important work to do. And that work is self-work. Do your shadow work, do your self-work, work on yourself, work how you get triggered. How can you be better next time? How can you inspire and help others? Like Jason said, your fear grows, your energy grows. People will come, doors will open, opportunities will present themselves. And I remember on the live stream we've done on my channel, we've got a benefactor. When you tune into that, you realize that, do you know what? Someone's got your back, whatever it is. Nothing's going to harm you. So with that in mind, fear just literally, it's like an ice cube falling into a cup of boiling water. It just disappears.
I wish I had a benefactor right now, because if I had a benefactor right now, my coffee mug wouldn't be empty. But
oh man, man, you effed up.
I'm just teasing. I'm pretty sure she just heard me. Is probably cussing me out right now.
Yeah. You gotta speak and you'll be served, dude. You know how it works.
Yeah, she's a doll. She's a doll, though. Oh
no, but it is. We are definitely in true historic times, and you've all heard the saying, what a time to be alive, and it is. I mean, like Jason said, there's people, and I don't like using the term, but it's generally accepted.
Thank you, babe.
There's people who are asleep and people who are awake. Those who haven't woken up yet, it's horrible to say, but their time is limited with all of these planned things going down the pipe. And I thought about this recently and the other day too. What about is certain amounts of people are supposed to be thriving and doing well during these times, who are roughly got an idea of what's going on and all of that sort of stuff. What about them people get left to the last, leading right up towards 2040, and them people, their souls get harvested, maybe go somewhere else for something else entirely different. Maybe they really want to get the cream of the crop with humanity, because we're told, what is it, 8 billion roughly alive on this global flat place, whatever you want to believe in, it's fine. How many is going to be left? I mean, 2040, everything that you've been presenting and looking into, do you know what I'd love to see? I would love to see you get Billy Carlson on here right now. Man, I'll tell you what, me and him have argued so much, and do you know what he ended up saying to me before I just washed my hands with that dickhead? Just leave it to the big hitters. We know what we're doing. That's what he said. The arrogance of that man.
I promise you, Billy Carson will never debate me, and I will have no mercy on him. I have had pseudo arguments with a few people, but you know what? It was always very civil. But
Yeah.
Billy Carson, I'm not trying to hear it. He's not going to sell me any crypto for $8,000. I promise you that. But or crypto instructions and all that. But yeah, you know what? It's when I first started my journey, and I was reaching out to different people, say, hey man, check this out. You guys have got some misinformation. This data has already been corrected in scholarship, and yet you're still telling 500,000 people the wrong material. And then when I would get, you gotta understand, I got blocked off of every single Billy Carson Facebook deal, because when I first started Archaix, I was not on YouTube. I was on Facebook, and I was putting out all these posts, and I got 22, 23, or 24,000 people on my Facebook group now. But at the time, I was struggling, and I was trying to get people to see, and several people latched onto my research, say, "Hey, man, you're really onto something." And I would publish my source materials. On my Facebook right now, Archaix Facebook. You have to go deep, because so many new people have put some BS on my deal. But if you go to my original post, there's over 250 articles that I posted that I wrote with all the sources, citations, images. They're all in there. Deep research. I used to send this to Billy Carson's channel all the time and say, hey man, you got all the chronology wrong, man. I tried to educate him, but you know what? I got blocked. So I kind of became a turtle. And when I was on Facebook, I quit posting in any groups. And then suddenly something happened. When I quit broadcasting all my data and my research and was just in my own community, the people coming to my community started sharing with these other groups. Next thing I know, I just blew up. I had to start a YouTube channel. But that's how it happened. But yeah, Billy Carson, I used to reach out all the time. I got blocked, just silence, block. I said, okay, you know what? I promise you, if the man ever enters debate with me, I'm going to embarrass him publicly. It's too easy to do. The data is all out there. It's all very well established. It's just
everything's
embarrassing what he promotes.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the same as Hancock as well. They're all on the same gravy train. Al Gore, all of these people. And this is another thing which some of these people probably don't fully understand. Everyone who has been paid off, as it were, taking part in progressing this agenda in their own compartmentalized way, at some point they're no longer going to be needed. They are all expendable. But they truly believe that they're going to be protected right up to whenever. But it's just not the case. It's just not the case. And it's going to dawn on them when their own security walks away and there's no one to look after them. And it sinks in what an impact that their little job that they've been doing has impacted humanity, if you want to use that term. Their days are numbered, but they just won't believe it. But their day will come, because far too many people are aware or becoming aware of what's going on. And lots of people are starting their own journeys into developing themselves, growing themselves, losing the fear, putting on that spiritual armor. And like you said, and it's so bloody true, bro, when you said, when you start losing the fear, people come. It's incredible. It really is. And I hope to God that so many people watching this find time and make it a priority to do some self-work and come out of this stronger, because once you lose that fear, you're untouchable. It's like you're covered in Vaseline and no one can grab you. You just keep moving. And
yeah, I agree. It's this the Phoenix phenomenon can be like my shirt says, harrowing. It can be a terrible affair, but that all depends on where you are in your walk. I mean, it wasn't designed for you, but you can be a participant by fearing, the what's going on. But just like the 7 seals of the apocalypse, all the way up to the Phoenix phenomenon, which is unleashed in the 6th seal, which is the subject matter of almost all my Phoenix phenomenon videos, to show you that 2040, the month of May, is the date for the breaking of the 6th seal. And this has happened multiple times in our history. This is a program that we're living out. But there's always survivors. Even the book of Revelation is very clear that all this stuff that happens in the first six seals, it still leaves 75% of the world intact. It's still designed to capture the attention of those who are not awake. It's still, but and this is before the seven trumpets. That's when hell breaks loose.
Oh my, yeah, wow.
That's when
No
hell
one wants to be
breaks
around
loose.
when that goes down, bro.
The seventh seal is still an act of mercy from the oversoul. The seventh seal is a silence. It's a silence for everybody who just went through the first 6 seals to collect themselves, understand what's going on, and it's an actual pause and cessation of activity. In the 7th seal, nothing happens in the world. It's still the aftermath of the Phoenix phenomenon in the 6th seal. And then after the 7 seals, there's a small period before the first trumpet begins, and that's when all bets are off. It's over with. Whoever you are when that first trumpet blows is who you're going to continue to be.
Oh man, exactly the same as how I think. I mean, it's almost like how I try and explain it to people who are coming on board with this stuff. It's like we're playing in a great big game, and we've got these certain stages to go through at the game. And the further you go through the game, people are going to lose. But there's always going to be people who get right to the end. But like you say, when that trumpet goes, gee whiz, man, that is going to be something which has been talked about for so long. And indeed, you're right, it's happened again and again and again. We just happen to be here precisely at the right time, doing what we're doing. And things are changing.
So, I mean, the subject matter of the book of Revelations has a focus. It has a definitive focus. It's right there in writing for you to see. And it is on the material, on the collective physical level. The subject matter is the opening of a portal to the abyss to release somebody named Apollyon. This is the subject matter of the book of Revelation. So I know people have their theories about what CERN is doing and these other super colliders, and maybe they're right. I don't know. I don't have the data. Maybe they're right. Or maybe it's ritual and it's required that humans participate in these wars and these conflicts and in this COVID-19 narrative, and humans participate. Maybe it's rituals that unlock this portal that allows this demon lord or whatever to come out and start his beast kingdom. I don't know. But Apollyon is the same as Apollo. They are no different. And this isn't just me saying that. I had to actually look in a lot of these lexicons and these old Bible interpretation books, and just they're the exact same individual, Apollo and Apollyon. So in my seals interpretations, going to the original Greek, I had admitted that I had made mistakes in the past. And I admitted in my first seals video. I have 2. The links are in the description box. But I have two videos describing the seals. And the first one is just concentrating on the first seal. And I had to make apology to my own community that I fell prey to the programming, the Judeo-Christian programming, through thousands of books and Sunday school lessons, vacation Bible school, Bible study groups, all these Bible commentaries. Listen, it's $1 billion industry, and across the board, it all tells you how to interpret the first seal, and it's wrong. And I bought into it. I thought the first seal did involve an antichrist figure who was coming to pretend to be a savior in Jesus, and the world was going to start worshiping him. And this is what we were trained to believe, how to interpret that. But the book of Revelation was written in Greek, and it's to the Greek syntax that we have to defer to. And when you look at Greek mythology and you see the symbol of the bow, the white horseman, and the crown, this is fantastic. You see that crown is corona. And you see that the white horseman holding in the bow is an amalgamation of 2 concepts in Greek mythology. The ancient centaur was white. He was half man, half horse. And he educated Apollo and Apollo's son on pharmakeia, the knowledge of the goddess of pharmacy. So she guarded a well that was full of poisoned water. And when you look at the symbols, you find out that the bow in the book of Revelation is toxin. That's too close to the point, because a bow is like a needle. It does the same thing. So or the bow and arrow. So you see this, it's crazy. It's not just that in the first horseman was using a bow called Toxin and was given a crown called Corona, but Apollo is actually the husband of Coronis. It's a goddess. When you put all these things together, and then you find out, wow, the first horseman concerns the pharmaceutical companies and the doctors all wear white and they're stabbing people with this poisoned water. It's all right here. It's all right here in the first seal. And then you find out the Hippocratic Oath. You've heard of the Hippocratic Oath that all the doctors and all the nurses have to say. It's thousands of years old. But did you, first of all, hippo means horse. The Hippocratic Oath began for over 2,000 years. The Hippocratic Oath began with an invocation that says, I swear by Apollo the physician. I've already had doctors contact me in my email saying, wow, that's amazing. I have a certificate that says that on the bottom. I'd never made that connection before. So it's a hallmark of the medical profession. So basically, when you take the Greek syntax, which is what the way words are presented in Greek is not the way they're presented in English, and that changes the meaning. So I showed this in my video, and basically what you have with the first horseman is the first seal is the white horseman. It's basically a worldwide event. Which is a broken seal. Each seal has to be a worldwide event. It has to involve the majority for it to qualify as the breaking of a seal. It can't be an isolated incident that happened in one or two little places. It's got to be something that we all agree on affected most of the world. And we can agree that the whole COVID-19 pandemic, the lockdowns, all that, all the vax stuff, every bit of that affected the entire world. So travel restrictions, all that. Now, was the entire world affected? No. I mean, now we're talking semantics. You know, Texans and Californians are both Americans, but Texans aren't Californians. So it's the same. The same thing applies here. So the four horsemen are world events, and they're the first four seals. And the first one was basically something that was spread rapidly. That's what a horse does. Spread rapidly with bow and arrow, poisons victims, empowering the poisoners, the crown, Coronis. And these poisoners are represented by the color white. So I found all that very interesting. And I say all that because Apollo is the destroyer. This is the role he plays in the book of Revelation. He's the destroyer. But in Greek mythology, Apollo was the god of prophecy, which changes the whole game here.
Yeah.
Prophecy is a program. It's something we're living through. We're living out. We're supposed to decode the signs to understand where we are in the program. But we're not to fear these things because fear makes us a participant. I believe I'm going to be watching most of the events of the apocalypse on the television. I'm not going to be participating in them. You understand?
Yeah, I totally get it. And do you know what is quite interesting when you were saying about Greek mythology? Because I remember covering this in one of my live streams, I don't know, 4 months ago, maybe longer, I'm not sure. But it was becoming apparent that all of the time that these, should we say that, the poke, all of the variants, they were all named after Greek names.
Yes.
And when we looked at the dates that these these new variants were publicly announced for the first time, I decided to find out what the planetary alignments were at that time. And all of this is just one big cycle, like you said earlier.
Oh, astrology is pure programming. So if you had data on that, I'd be interested in seeing that too.
Yeah. It's incredible, brother. I mean, it's exactly the same thing which we keep coming up against. There's no way that this stuff's a coincidence. All of this, and I would say, if anyone is interested in researching, really look into Greek mythology, especially what Jason just said about the terminology with the wordplay of how we interpret that. And with English, it's completely different. It's exactly the same as Latin as well. Totally different. And the more that we look into this stuff, why are they using Greek terms? Why are they using that? I mean, look at CERN.
It's the
and
Greeks.
You look at Shiva.
It's all decoded. If the prophetic text is written in Greek, then Greek is what we need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
So 1 hour and 12, 1 hour and 13 minutes in, we got 2,160 something people in. Are you ready for the decode on the second seal? We just reviewed the first seal.
Yeah.
So I have to preface this with what Funkyprepper and I just discussed. We're talking about sleeper cells, men of military age who have been put in all these Western nations. They have been put in London. They have been put in England. They have been put in Wales, in Cornwall. They have been put in Scotland. They have been put in Ireland. They have been put all over the United States. They have been put in Canada. Many are coming up through the southern border of Mexico as we speak right now. They have been put in Norway, Denmark, Sweden. They have been put in France, Italy. This is by design. What we are seeing is the introduction and financing of a fifth column that is being put there for a very definitive purpose. That purpose is going to be short-lived. It's going to happen. It's going to take off. It's going to be ubiquitous. It's going to involve the entire world because these cells have also been sent in China. These cells have been sent in India. And listen, this is not an attempt to take over. That's not what's going to happen here. Maybe the participants have been brainwashed into thinking that they're a part of a larger takeover type deal, but that's not. This is not what we have. And I'm going to break down this Greek. It's really interesting. The English takes away from the meaning. I went deep into the meaning of the Greek in this. I'm going to reveal it to you now. Here's what the King James Version says today of Revelation chapter 6, verse 4. I'm going to read it straight off my computer right here. This is the verse you're familiar with. And then I'm going to break it down, and then I'm going to read the verse over according to the Greek breakdown. And it's going to be something fundamentally different. Are you ready? I got to drink coffee to this one. I'm excited about this one.
Stay tuned, guys. This is going to blow your minds big time. I've heard of two different people interfering with the editing of the Bible before it went King James style. Francis Bacon and John Dee. One or both of those had big editing impacts into what we now know as the King.
Man, listen, any translator will tell you it's very, very easy in translating one text from one language to another. Yeah. It's very easy to alter the meanings by using words that have variant or different connotations. And this is what has happened in the English.
Yeah.
The English, here's the English. And when he opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, "Come and see." And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. I've read so many Bible commentaries. They all say the same thing. This is World War III. This is an epic war in response to the appearance of the Messiah. This is what all the Bible commentaries say, because they say the first horseman is the Antichrist instead of Christ. This is someone pretending to be the Jesus, pretending to be the returned God. And the second horseman is the response to the conqueror of the first horseman. Guys, it's far from the truth. There's no connection here. This is an absolutely independent event that has nothing to do with the pharmaceutical companies. It has nothing to do at all with the medical stuff that went down in 2020, 2021. None of that. It's an independent event. But it's caused by the very same people, because the very same people who own the pharmaceutical companies are the same ones that are orchestrating all these sleeper cells being put in all these countries. Same puppet masters, a whole different event. So, first of all, the English second beast actually means living creature. It's talking about the tetramorph, the four-headed angel that sits around the throne of God and reveals what the seven seals are about. Come and see in English is rendered in Greek to perceive and discern. That's a little deeper. It's telling you, it's basically telling you that I'm speaking in code. This is what the Greek says, to perceive and discern. It doesn't say come and see. That's what the English translators did. So next, we're told it's a red horse. Now remember, the horse is an event that rides upon the world scene. Just recently on my channel, I showed you guys in the community post an old book, a picture from an old book that shows Apollo with the Liberty spikes, like the Statue of Liberty, shows Apollo on his chariot with 4 horses. These 4 horses are 4 independent events that are brought in that are necessary to unlock the portal that releases Apollo. So the red is not red at all, my friends. Red is an afterthought added in by the English translators. Now, you can get red from it, but the Greek word is poros. It's a hard word for me to say, but it's poros. And it literally means of the color of fire. Because it means of the color of fire, translators often just say red because it sounds good, red horse, but that's not what it says. It literally says fiery horse. Just like in the book of Revelation later on in chapters 14 and 19, it specifically says poros dragon. Yes. It's not red dragon. It's fiery, flaming dragon in book of Revelation. The same Greek word is used to describe the dragon later in the same context where the English translators put the word red, where it's not necessarily red. The color of fire is very descriptive. It allows you to see, okay, fire is describing flickering flames, yellow and orange, and maybe there's some red in there. The Greek is very, very instructive. There's a lot more meaning to the Greek than there is in English.
It's interesting when you said about Dresden earlier as well, when that got completely firebombed in the World War II in Germany.
Yes, sir. So this is what it's talking about. The poros. This is a horse, meaning a world, an event that rushes upon the world scene, catches you by surprise. All right, this is an event that happens in multiple different places involving fire, the color of fire. So now, to take peace from the earth, in the Greek, that's 2 different words, and the connotations are unrest, disturbance, taking the peace of mind, removing welfare, causing instability. And the Greek word for earth is actually, in English, actually it was said earth, but that's not it. That's not what it is in Greek. In Greek, it's literally a reference to the inhabitants of an area, the inhabitants of a region, the inhabitants of a country. This is what's really said. So this event is going to basically create disturbance, unrest, remove the welfare, create instabilities to inhabitants of countries. In English, it says kill one another, and in Greek, it's pretty close to put to death by violence. That's different than war. You understand? All the Christian commentaries are all pushing this is World War III. This is the great war that follows the appearance of the Antichrist, but that's not what we find in these seals. That's not what we find in the Greek. That interpretation of Judeo-Christianity seems to be very, very wrong with the first seal. So I'm going to show you that it's very, very wrong with the second seal as well. So we have at the end of this sentence that the peace is going to be taken away by a great sword. Here's a real problem. The English translators were very manipulative here.
A real sword.
That's a real sword. I got one close, similar to it. But I'm going to tell you now, my brother, that's a nice one too.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Is that a Reaper blade?
That is a twin-handed katana from Cold Steel.
Oh, is it Cold Steel Company? Because I have Reaper weapons. I have weapons made by the company called Reaper.
Yeah, it's quite big. So it's hard, I can't even get it in the shop. But yeah.
So, okay. Listen,
carry on, bro.
The only problem, Funky, is that the Greek does not say great sword. Only the English does. So I'm going to break it down. So it says great sword, but the syntax is inverted. In Greek, sword comes first, then the word great comes next, but it's not great. Let me explain. The word sword in the Greek context is describing, it's pronounced makira. And for those of you who know Greek, maybe you can correct me, but it's makaira or something like that. It's a cognate of makira and machete. And in Greek it describes a very short sword or a dagger. That's not a weapon of war. That's a weapon of an assassin. So in Homer's Iliad, the exact same word is used to describe a knife. A knife. I read that in a lexicon today. It blew my mind. So anyway, if a large sword was indicated in the Greek, it would have never used this word because the word it would use was rhomphaia. Rhomphaia or rhomphaia. I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's Greek, and that's for the long sword. It's like a Thracian sword, a scimitar. That's for what you're holding. That right there in Greek is a rhomphaia, the big sword. What's being described here in Greek is a weapon, a knife, a dagger. So that's really interesting. So we have to equate that with small arms because this is a symbol. We're not talking about APCs. We're not talking about military grade weaponry here. We're not talking about missile systems and fire and forget systems and phalanx systems. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about small arms.
Pistols and rifles. Yeah.
So now the Greek is real specific. And here's further proof because the word great in English was put before sword, which is deceptive. That's not how the Greek syntax is. In the Greek verse, the word great comes after sword, and it has a different connotation. It means great in the wide scale sense, meaning we're not talking about a singular event. We're talking about multiple events covering multiple areas. So it connotes an abundance. It connotes it's also, here's what's really, really curious. This Greek word that's descriptive of take something going over in a wide sense is also connoting arrogance and fierceness. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
What's being conveyed is the effect of the daggers will be great. It's not great sword as in a long sword. It's that the effect of small arms will be highly effective over a large area. This is what's being conveyed by that. It was completely changed by the English translators.
Do you know what I was told a few years ago? Now, this is just what I was told. I can't prove this. I don't really know. It's just what I was told. Apparently, in every mosque in the United Kingdom, there are rifles right in the middle of every mosque underground already.
Oh, I believe that. I 100%. I'm on board with that. Yeah, I don't believe. Yeah, we already know what mosques really are. Yeah, I get it. So check this out. Here's just an added detail to the word great in Greek. The same word is used in the same chapter of Revelation to describe a worldwide earthquake. It says the earthquake will be great in the earth. It's used to show that we're talking about something that's not happening just to Jerusalem, just to Rome. It's happening ubiquitously. The word great is showing this is happening in multiple places. So, having gone through the Greek in the individual prepositional phrases and the object nouns, having gone through all this, would you like to hear what the Greek conveys now in the whole, I got my own interpretation right here based off the Greek. You ready to hear it?
Shoot.
Okay. This is the second worldwide event that is supposed to wake up those who are going to wake up. This is the second seal. This is it. And when he opened the second seal, I heard the second living being say, understand and discern. And there went out another event upon the world that was fiery, and power was given to the perpetrators to sow discord, disturbances, create instability, removing peace from the countries, and to kill by violence with small arms over large areas. It's as simple as that. That's the Greek. That's the Greek. That is what we're seeing being prepared right now with all these cells being put in position in finance. They can't stay there forever. They can't stay in hotels. They can't stay in motels. They can't stay in all these different places. Sooner or later, populations will wake up. They have to act. And I believe they got to do that pretty soon.
Do you know what they said about the hotels in the UK where these migrants are in? The majority of them were all leased for 2 years, 24 months. And that started March time this year. So you're looking at 2 years what they are being told about these hotels.
So we're essentially looking for an Order 66 event. That's what we're looking for. Yeah. This is what we're waiting on right now. The next big worldwide event is going to be Order 66, where all these cells are activated at the exact same time, and the news is gonna blow this up because that's what they do, fear programming, and they're gonna have everybody believing it's much bigger than it is, and it's not, and there's still not enough to take over any country. Hell, they're gonna have a problem in Houston. Our gangs in Houston have enough firepower to fight this off, but But I'm just saying, there's 5.5 million people in Houston area, and almost everybody's armed to the teeth out here in Texas. So yeah, they're going to have problems in a lot of conservative areas, but there's going to be places where it's going to be a really big deal. And small arms includes not just not just the knife, not just the pistol, not just the assault rifle, but also IEDs. All like Boston bombings, all kinds of stuff like that. But as far as jets, tanks, APCs, that's not what's being described here. What's being described here is worldwide terrorism, all at the exact same time. This is what will take peace from the earth. This is what will create instability, and this is what will satisfy the death toll and the description here. And it's not World War III. It's what's used to justify World War III. So yeah, man, that's pretty much where I'm at right now, and I believe that this event can happen anytime from November to the opening ceremonies of the 2024 Olympics in France. France being the heart of almost all Muslim violence against Europeans. France
next year's going to be the year, dude, for sure. Next year,
France has always been the heart of it, going back 16 centuries. Well, 14 centuries. So it could very well be the French Olympics, which I do have a prediction from about 2 years ago where I had even predicted based off political isometrics and some cryptic things that Nostradamus said that something major may go down. This is way before I even did these decodes on the seals, that something major is slated to go down during the Olympics of 2024. And that was before I even knew they were in France. So, yeah. So that's my presentation, bro. That's where I'm at right now.
That's really hot. And also 2024, there's so many things leading to that now. I think it's November time. There's going to be a comet visible. And we've already talked about Nostradamus saying things like that. Also, you've got right at the end of next year, you've got the UK general elections going from December into January 2025. And also, you guys in the US have got elections as well. So next year is going to be a huge, big year.
There's a lot going down. I don't know. Did I ever finish my point about Ezekiel 38 and 39?
No, you started, but you digressed.
Yeah, I entertain tangents like that when I'm in a good conversation. I'll
do too.
Real quick, in Ezekiel 38 and 39, we have a prophetic foreshadowing. We have a list of like 11 different nations that at the time of the writing of the book of Ezekiel, they were all different cultures, different languages, different religions. They had no contact. Back then, many of them were thousands of miles apart, hundreds of miles, and there was no correlates. There's nothing in common with any of these countries back then. But today, all 11 of them are Islamic.
Whoa.
That's Ezekiel 38 and 39, and it's describing a major invasion of 11 different armies, nations coming together to fight against Jerusalem. It's World War III. Now, I find that very interesting that when that prophetic text was written a long time ago, Islam didn't exist. Those countries were all different religions and different races, creeds, and all political affiliations, and they were all far apart. But today, every single one of those are Muslim countries.
Watch this space, huh?
Yeah, man.
But yeah, when you tell people about, 2040 and stuff, and people freak out, what can I do? How can I survive this? What are you going to do? It's crazy. I mean, there's some people saying, oh, you got to get really deep underground and this, that, and the other. But
there's survivors. Look, listen, there's survivors for everything. I mean, we don't. I don't fear any of this. Whatever happens, man. It's just.
Yeah, exactly.
This is nothing but an avatar, and I borrowed this avatar from the construct. It's not even me. It's not even me. There's nothing to fear here. It's all.
Yeah. But I'll get that question a few times. What can we do to prepare for this? All you can do is try to keep your soul intact. Keep that from being attacked. So yeah, do your self work, do your shadow work. Keep your soul protected under the armor. Keep helping, keep loving, keep sharing, and keep walking that path. People are going to make it. People aren't going to make it. You just got to walk your path. And 2040, at the end of the day, it's just a number. And we're certainly all here for just the right time for a reason. Oh, check it out. What you got there, bro?
This is what the second seal is describing. Small knives.
Ooh. Gee whiz.
That's whalebone.
Don't start me off, dude.
Oh no! Hey, one of these days, we may have to do it on Archaix TV. I don't think we can show them all, but one of these days, you and I need to do a video, and we'll just show off all of our toys because I got some pretty interesting stuff, man.
I remember seeing it earlier on in the chat where someone was saying, "I hope you're going to get all of the tools out." And I'm thinking, well, I know what YouTube's like already. They mentioned if you get loads of weapons, especially firearms, on live streams, you're done. It's crazy.
Funkyprepper, just for self-defense and because I'm an ex-con and I can't have a real combustible weapon, you're not going to believe what I got. I have a 50 caliber pneumatic pistol, which is 100% legal. Right here in Texas.
I remember you doing a video on this ages ago with all of the other air rifles and things.
This is a 50 caliber air pistol. It's a 6-shot, like an old Western. Listen, it's marketed for home defense, but the pneumatic weapons they're getting to be almost as powerful as just regular pistols now. It's crazy. Whoa. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, here in the UK, it's so heavily licensed and bloody on all of this stuff. I mean, it's just insane. So it's probably a good idea to get this sort of stuff sooner rather than later in case they do another a red flag or a false flag, and all of a sudden you need to be licensed, or you got to pay more, or it's a pain in the ass to get, etc. So yeah, no time like the present. The best time to start prepping was yesterday. So people are joining on board every single day, brother.
Yeah, man.
Just give us 1 sec. I've got something to show you too. Hold on.
What?
You put that on there. Ah! It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what he's doing, guys. I may have to edit this part out in a minute. No, Chris R. It's not rubber bullets. I got stainless steel bullets. I got aluminum jacketed bullets. I got 50 caliber rounds, but they're pneumatic. Oh wow! How old is that?
Genuine US MC K-bar from Vietnam.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. I don't want to be on the end of that.
Oh man, it's a fighting knife. It's perfect. It's nice and it's light. It's quick. It's strong. It's got a guard on there. These are cool. That is what's issued to the Swedish Air Force. So awesome. It's their survival knife. That's a cool bean as well. That one there.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That is a proper razor, that one. Made out of VG10 laminated steel. So you can leave that outside in the rain for 2 years and it won't have a single speck of rust on it.
Right.
Awesome tool. And its smaller brother, which is a recent one. If I can get it out. That one there. That's a beautiful one too. little one.
Yeah, man, those are beautiful.
But yeah, works all the time. Never going to run out of ammo with these, you know.
Yeah, man. I really find it interesting that second seal uses the word for small knife, because that's like the preferential weapon to the type of people that are being inserted in these places too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Parisian daggers,
weapon.
all of that stuff goes back in the day. I wouldn't be surprised if it's almost something identical to what the Sikhs carry here in the UK for their ceremonial daggers.
Right.
I can pretty much see that coming.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You got a great chat going on tonight, bro. Man, people are blowing up this stuff, aren't they?
And what time is it where you at?
It's getting late. It's about 9:45 at night now. So
okay. Look, we did this. Hey, I see Monica Pharaoh in the chat. Girl, you need to contact me. We need to square off these old Christmas presents.
Yeah.
I got so many people in the chat I know and doing different things with. But yeah, man,
I've got a few from yours coming over to moderate on mine as well. I see Shiva in there, JJ Recon, obviously Pamela Swan too. You got some really seriously good folk in your community, and I think that's what we do. You know, we've got proper moderators, people who ain't going to muck around, because man, we've got some dickheads all the time, don't we?
Yeah, they're absolutely important. Moderators are important.
Yeah, they do a great job. Yeah, shout out to the moderators as well. Thank you for keeping it clean. It really helps, doesn't it? Because we don't want to spend time arguing in the comments. We've got shit to learn here, and we're doing our bit by sharing what we do. So more love, power to the people, eh?
Yeah, man. Hey, we hit almost 2,300 in the chat, and I think that's really good. That's really reflective on who you are, man. I mean, you deserve. I know you said the other day you got over 1,000 and something new subs and pretty fast. So
yeah, it's going crazy, dude.
Yeah, man. It's not always about the subject matter of a channel. A lot of it has to do with the dynamic of a personality. When people understand they're dealing with somebody who is genuine, someone who actually believes what they're promulgating, this goes far. It goes far because the entire, you already know, the entire chatmosphere throughout YouTube is just full of fallacy. It's just full of people chasing that dollar, and they're really not trying to look out for their fellow man at all.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. I mean, when I started, you know, I used to hate advertising. And what it was a friend of mine who was a bit of a mentor back in the day when I started. He said, look, monetize your channel. When you get the money from that, you can use it towards fuel for when you go to location and you make videos. You can use that money to buy new cameras when they break, new microphones, get a new laptop. It's important as you build a channel. And I was really against it, but eventually I did, and it's slowly grown, and it is making a difference. But I watch some channels, and sometimes they've got okay information, but how they deliver it, you know, zero charisma. It's just, you just can't watch, you know. And I find it hard listening to someone who's speaking like this all the time, and the content's very, very boring. I can't do it, bro.
Yeah,
you need to just be yourself, and that's what I say to anyone who's thinking of starting YouTube channels. All you got to do is be yourself. Don't fake it, because the second you go out there and you meet people in the street and they're going to realize you're completely different, if you be yourself, you haven't got nothing to hide or worry about, and that's how it should be.
Yeah, man. I have dinner. I have lunch sometimes. I have dinner sometimes. I meet people for coffee or drinks. And Dawn and I have met a few people from out of state that were just passing through, and they contact us and say, hey, man, I'm just, you know what? It's I get that all the time. I say, damn, you're just like you are on YouTube. And I'm always perplexed, like,
yeah, I get it too.
Did you expect me otherwise? I mean,
yeah. At the end of the day, we're just guys. We're not professionally trained or anything. We're just following our paths and doing what we feel is right. Trying to encourage, inspire, and help others, and learn at the same time. Because I tell you what, every day is a school day, and we're never ever going to stop learning. And when you see these people who think they know it all, man, they're going to slip up on their ass one day, because no one's ever going to know it all. So don't feel too bad or hard on yourself if you feel like you should know this, but you don't. Everyone's growing at their own pace at their own time, because everyone's individual circumstances are completely different and unique from anyone else. So That's a good message. Don't be too hard on yourself. So
I agree.
yeah.
I agree, man. So hey, next time we do this, we're gonna do it on your channel.
Yeah, why not, dude? That'd be cool. I'm trying to I've got a friend who's currently trying to build a website. It's been ages. But the only problem is when we speak like this on YouTube, there's only so much we can say. But I've been told by the guy who's doing this website that if you put it on the website, it's fine. But if it's free, we've got something in the UK called Ofcom, and it has to be behind the paywall, because if it's provided to the public for free, they can literally just remove your website indefinitely.
Yeah.
So the only way you can do it is you have to put it behind a paywall. Once that's in place, I'd love to have you on there, and we can really talk. We could swear, we can rant, we can cuss, we can have a laugh. You know?
I agree. Well, that's what I do. I have Archaix TV. Archaix TV. It absolutely allows me to put a lot of content on there I can't put on YouTube. And it's because of the little $5 a month paywall. Actually, because it's behind a paywall, it's not accessible to the general public. So it's not, you don't have that heightened scrutiny. You don't get your videos don't get taken down. So
I signed up to Archaix.tv about 3 or 4 months ago now. And oh man, that was growing pretty damn fast. I mean, it's definitely value for money, because there's stuff on there which, do you know what, you wouldn't ask 5 minutes if you said that stuff on YouTube.
Well, I've got friends who've already had two medical related videos. One of them right here was with Dr. Corey Stern. She's in the chat now, that were taken off of YouTube. So we just put them on Archaix TV, and they're thriving on Archaix TV. So that's
awesome. That's good to know, dude. Seriously good. Because the way I'll see it with all of this stuff going on, I mean, in the UK, they're just about to pass legally the online safety bill. What that does is that gives complete control to government and sponsored agencies to go through every single P2P encrypted messaging platform here in the mainland UK. So every single Signal, message, Telegram, WhatsApp, or whatever it is, they can literally go through everyone's private conversations in real time, looking to protect children. That's what they're talking about. But we all know that it's just another thing to snoop. So people are going to find it really difficult to sort of plan, to organize, to help try and navigate through this crazy time that we're in. And it's just another thing that they're throwing into. And how I describe it is cops and robbers. Every time the cops go, boom, no, you can't. The robbers go, we'll get around it. And then it's the same again. And that's all it is. We are playing in real time a game of cops and robbers. And
it is. Right.
It's been on that for many a year now, bro, and it's for a long time, and it's going to continue. Just when you think, oh my God, they've nailed it, we can't do anything. Do you know what my motto is that I've been saying since 2012? There's always a way. No matter how much you boil away the piss, there's always a way. Don't forget it, because there is. Just when you think you're on your ass and the game's up, no, guess what? Something happens, an opportunity happens, you get an idea, boom, you're moving again.
Okay, well, look, here, let's put things in modern perspective. You and I are having a badass chat on YouTube with over 2,000 people who have participated, participated by actually engaging in the chat. And think about everything that's happened in the world. Let's just pick a year. Let's pick the year 2007. All these people, most of them were alive in 2007. Do you have any idea how much dungeon programming, false flag events, how much fear porn has been put out by the media and social media since 2008, 2009, 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Every single year, fear porn's being pumped out. But you know what? Here we all are having a chat on YouTube. Everybody's in the chat. Everybody's here. So listen, what is true of the period from 2007 till now is true from now till a pretty good chunk of the future. So this fear, if people would just eliminate this fear aspect, shelve it, put it to the side, and decide that tomorrow they're going to push forward in absolute confidence in everything they do, I promise, man, they're going to see the evidence of the holography of their life being manipulated in their favor, and that opportunities that were always there but always missed will now be seen. And man, it's so easy, dude. Fear blocks all that.
Oh God, honestly, the more that you contemplate, the more you worry about what's happened in the past. Guess what? You can't go back and change it. It is what it is. Despite how many weeks, hours, years, whatever it is that you think about whatever's happened in the past, all you're doing is you're ruining your now time. And all of the stuff that's coming down the pipe, but guess what? No one really knows what's going to happen tomorrow or next week. And you can speculate all you like. And the worst case to be is if you reach the age of 80 or 90 years old and you're on your deathbed and you sit there or laying in your deathbed and you look back and you think, do you know what? I spent so much of my life worrying about stuff which never freaking happened. And you're wasting your time. You should be living, you should be experiencing, you should be learning and helping. I mean, do you know what? I'd done some maths quickly before we went on air tonight. And your channel and my channel together, we have over 242,000 subscribers. That's nearly 250,000 people who listen to what Jason says and what I say. And more YouTube channels are starting every single day. And at some point, you know, they're going to try everything they can to shut us down. I mean, I've been shadow banned about 8 times now. People aren't getting notified from any of my videos. My subscriber count was going backwards. Nothing was moving forward. When I looked at the analytics, there was 0 new subscribers, just already people who are being subscribed anyway. And I've actually had physically a visit from the counter-terrorism police to my property. And yes, I live in the middle of nowhere. And they warned me about what I was saying on YouTube. Wow. And I had to really have a think and to say, I could carry on. But what it boils down to, the biggest thing I think a lot of these agencies are worried about is incitement. The second you start saying to people, right, everyone should go out and do this. And if you have a big following, that's when they're going to grab you by the nuts and they're going to twist and it ain't going to stop. So all we try and do is we try to put out as much information which we believe to be believable and as factual as we can possibly understand it, bearing in mind all of the other dots that we're trying to connect in the past and where we are now in the present, and to try and give people a bit of a heads up to help them prepare and to make their what they're going through in their life, their experience, okay? Because this is 100% a simulation. That's why I don't give a toss if the earth is round or flat. It's a simulation. It can be whatever it is they want us to think. Yep. So we just need to make sure that the most important thing to do is to really look inside ourselves to find out what we're not happy with. Work on those things. Try to eliminate them from happening again. So you are learning. You're not just realizing something. Oh, okay, I know I'm shit at that or whatever. Oh. And then you can try and better yourself. Once you start doing that, you can't love anyone else really until you start loving yourself. You've got to be really happy with yourself as a person. And all of a sudden, people will start coming to you. Your your fear will just abate crazily. And like Jason said, he's absolutely right. And I can tell this firsthand because it's happening to me right now. When you start losing that fear, I'm not joking, your life quality improves massively. So much so, sometimes I feel guilty going to sleep because I feel like I'm missing out. I know Jay sometimes gets by with 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night. So do I. Dude, we love our coffee, don't we? Because without that, the world would be a crazier place. With it. Imagine that. Stockpiling coffee, guys. That's an absolute must. You need to do that. Yeah, for sure. I'm just checking.
I agree, man. I agree. Yeah. But about this time right here, we're about to put Funkyprepper to bed because it's getting real late in the UK right now. And,
yeah, fair shout. Yeah, we'll definitely do this again too. And I've just noticed London girl, Kaz. Good to see you, honey. Wow, we got some people from my channel on it too. Awesome. Happy days. But yeah, it's been great, bro. It's really, really cool. And one of these days, I'm going to make out of Texas and we should hang out. That'd be cool as.
Oh, yeah. You can come stay here for a while.
Definitely, dude.
We always have some people dropping in and hanging out.
Get some range time done soon as well, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we got out here, we just go to the forest.
Man, absolutely. Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
Texas got a lot of empty forest.
Yeah, sweet. Okay, then, dude, that's about me done. So thanks everyone for coming along and listening to these two guys shoot the breeze. And it's always good in the hood because Jason is a super guy. And I love it when I see the word errant everywhere. We need more errants, bro, don't we? For sure.
Yeah, man. It's
Live outside the
it's
system.
Good. It's good stuff. Oh, Nelson Perez talking about doing a pilgrimage to Texas. It take you in too, man. There's room here.
Yeah,
all right, guys. We're gonna wind this down because in 3 hours, Martin and I are going on with Paranormies. We really stacked the weekend. I did 2 videos yesterday. I'm doing 2 today. But yeah, and then I'm gonna take like the week off, except for one video I'm doing with Shiva Shampoo on Mandela Effect.
So, cool. I need to see that.
Now we're gonna do that Tuesday. So
yeah.
Yeah, he just really messed me up and sent me an email talking about a new Mandela Effect concerning Scooby-Doo. So I'm gonna have to wear one of my Scooby-Doo shirts when we do the video.
The Mystery Machine. Oh,
yeah,
we love Shiva. He's awesome. What a dude.
I appreciate you guys and joining us in the chat. Man, it was really awesome getting up to 2,300 people in the chat. Both of our communities coming together like that. You have not seen the last of Funkyprepper, and I'm pretty sure I'll be on his channel in the future. And you guys shoot over there to his channel. I've already put the link in the description box before the video. Sub to his channel, see what he's talking about. He's going to give you repeat updates of what's going on in the UK because you're not going to get it from the news. So it's love you guys, and we're gonna go ahead and check out. And I'm gonna hit that majorly awesome outro y'all haven't heard in a long time because I ain't been doing it, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it now. But I'm talking about it, and I'm looking. Oh, there it is. Present video file. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm still learning this, bro.
Love it, bro. You'll get there.
Got it.